Welcome to Listen with EquiTeam. I'm Liz Daniels,
And I'm Lou Gillings.
and we're together again.
Whoop, whoop.
It seems like these things are like buses, they don't happen, and then we've had two in quick succession, which is amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's quite nice to see your smiley face.
Ah, that's very nice. Today, we thought we would talk about the emotional bucket and when it gets a little bit empty and self-care, which I am the first to admit I am not very good at doing recognition. And I saw a post the other day that said November with the no as in say no in November. Again, something that I'm terrible at, but I think it came to light after quite a week last week. It was um full of extreme highs, lows, everything in the middle, from saying a very, very, very sad goodbye to my part horse on Monday to then going straight into camps, and they're quite full on in a good way as well, having obviously someone in the house as well, which again was brilliant. It was such a good distraction. Taking my own horse to camp and doing loads of new cool things, but then those feelings of guilt associated with like, oh, I wish Cianti was here as well. And in the mix of that, we had a buyer or potential buyer for Curly the weekend before, which was amazing and went really well. So his vetting was thrown in the mix. And for anyone that has sold a horse, you know that it's quite a stressful time in that it's full of so many uncertainties outside your control, which like is just added to everything. Anyway, he passed and he's going to a lovely new lady who's an EquiTeam member, which is just amazing to keep that in the EquiTeam family. But of course, that's tinged with a little bit of sadness. And I got to the end of last week. Oh, and then Pumpkin went to camp as well, which was really cool. So she's a rescue horse that I've been working really quietly with at home. So that was her first ever outing. So to be there with her was just brilliant, but again, quite emotionally taxing. And I think I got to the end of the week and I was like, I'm just emotionally wrung out. I have nothing left. And then I saw a
Nothing left to
post,
give.
no, nothing at all. I saw a post and I can't remember. I was just looking for it before we started recording on an emotional bucket and how everyone has an emotional bucket and you want your emotional bucket to be full. And then as you get these wide range of emotions that the extremes of the emotions, it obviously tips some of the liquid out of the bucket, but the importance of replenishing the bucket as well to mean that you've always got a little bit left in the tank, which had definitely got to the end of this last week and thought nope.
No, it was quite a week. I know you're always super busy and you're very good at compartmentalizing things and keeping going, but that probably was a little bit more of a challenging week than normal. But most of your weeks are challenging, but that was a particularly special one.
I know, I think
And then you get to the weekend and it doesn't stop then either.
no, I think that's it. And trying to juggle all the like my normal job around all that as well, it just felt a bit like holy moly, this is quite intense. Some of it in a really good way, and some of it obviously in a not so good way. But I'm not on my own, Lou, and that's what I think I wanted to talk about is that these feelings that you get, like I am, as Dr. Andy would say, a two percenter. I'm very optimistic. You've got probably a bit too much energy sometimes, which is good and bad, and has its good points and bad points depending who's on the receiving end of my energy. But everyone has a limit where they go, oh my God, it just can't. And that isn't unique, to us or to the equestrian industry or anything like that. How do other people deal with that? Are they just better at saying no? Are they better at recognizing? Is it just life? Is everyone? What do you think?
I think there's a lot of people who find it as well. I was walking back from the school run this morning and bumped into one of the other mums, and she was just standing with her. She's got I think he's 8 months old in his pushchair, and she was just standing with a phone in her hand, and she just looked a little bit done in. It's like, you okay? Do you need to go and sit in a dark room? And she just went, do you know? She said, I look after the kids, I cook, I clean, I shop. Do you ever just think that can somebody else just do one thing for me? And she'd had that awful
Oh,
realization that her car MOT had ran out
oh.
and she needed to get to a swimming lesson, and she couldn't because she couldn't drive her car because her MOT had run out. And I think she actually just wanted her husband to just sort it out. And he hadn't. So I think, yeah, it happens to everybody. There's that one thing that tips them over the edge. And she's quite obviously she's busy. She's got 2 kids and things, and works as well part-time. So I think, yeah, this morning was tipping
Oh.
over the edge moment. So she was like, I'm going to go home and sit and have a cup of tea. Probably put something really inappropriate on the TV about real life murders and things, and then start calling round garages to see if she could get a car booked in. So yeah, bless her. So yeah, I don't think it is just us. I think everybody, unless they're very good at saying no.
I
I,
know.
I don't know anybody who's very good at saying no. I'm not very good at it.
No, I'm rubbish at it. I think sometimes it's a combination of things, isn't it? If you have one thing you can deal with it. It's when there's several things that all add up. And for me, I recognize and actually really see this in my daughter who's 16. Sleep. Like if I don't get enough sleep, that in itself can just make a slightly different outlook. I don't mean 1 or 2 nights, I mean repeatedly. Like I'd not been sleeping at all well on the run up, knowing that it was a planned euthanasia. And I think the night before I had 2 hours and some, I think I sent you the screenshot, it was like 2 hours and something. The night before that, I think it had been 3 hours. So it was a lot of repeated, like not a lot of sleep, the kind of sleep that when you've got a newborn baby, how those people function, I have forgotten. It's just awful. And I think that for me also, that is one of the things that I do recognize that actually I do need sleep. And I think I can't remember if it was on a podcast or something in the group that someone had said, but actually just having one night's sleep, one good night's sleep doesn't counteract those, it's like a repeated build-up of good night's sleep that's then needed to counteract your loss of sleep. I can't remember last time I had 8 hours sleep.
Hmm. I seem to have weird sleep, and there's a constant chat about Garmin's and whether they're actually good for your mental health or not by what they tell you. And on the run up to camps, the last 2 lots of camps we've done, my body battery has been at 5, and it doesn't get any lower than 5. Like the chart doesn't go any lower. And I think, but I did sleep last night, and I knew I'd slept. But I think sometimes I have crazy dreams, and I'm probably really running in my sleep or busy. I don't know. But if I hadn't looked at my body battery, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm a bit tired, but I'm okay. But because it told me it was at 5, I was like, oh, maybe I do feel ill.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
yeah,
Never thought about that.
yeah.
Never,
And it
yeah.
took, even though I then had a few good nights sleep, it still didn't build up back up to sort of normal levels again for a good few days. So I think the last camp I was at 5 for about 3 days of camp before suddenly it managed to jump up to 50. So
That's quite
I was at
unusual.
50%.
I wonder what like people are on, what's an average for people to be at. There must be an average range that people fluctuate between. I wonder what the average is. Probably
Oh,
not
I'm
5.
sure if I looked, it would tell me.
Yeah.
It does tell, the one thing it does tell me is it tells me I do a lot more steps on average than most people. And I think, well, I'm not even doing that many at the moment. So I'm not sure what it's gauging that against.
To be fair though, when on the very infrequent days where I'm trying to think of an example recently where I'd gone somewhere, I can't remember. I didn't have horses to do in the morning, was staying somewhere, I can't remember. And it was like 10 o'clock, and I think I'd done about 1,000 steps. I mean, that is unheard of for me. Like I would normally have done at least 4, 5,000 before 8 o'clock in the morning. So you can see if people don't have horses or dogs or running around after kids, actually that
Mm,
10,000 recommended steps would be quite a challenge.
yeah.
But then your body gets fit for purpose as well, doesn't it? And I had been quite good, so after been feeling just like it's amazing what it does to your physical health, I think as well. The that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm just like I wasn't emotionally, like mentally done. I wasn't sitting in a corner crying. I just felt flat, like I'd got no energy. I just got nothing to give, nothing of any value to give. I was just like, let me just get through the day, which is really unlike me, and I hate that. And anyway, I started on this running app thing that I'm like, right, come on, you've got to get your fitness back. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I just couldn't until last night, and I actually felt so much better. But I think if I'd have tried to have like done that last week, I think my body would have just said that would have been like a shingles outbreak kind of thing, I think, for me, because that's when I know things are really bad when I get repeated outbreaks of shingles. And I don't know if anyone's had shingles, it's not the most fun thing in the world.
It's a little understatement. Yeah. I
No.
don't think there's many people that get it repeatedly. I think you're a special case.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's not it doesn't fill you with energy and sprightliness, does it?
No, and that's the problem. I think in my head, I still want to be like super efficient. I want to do this, I want to do that. And then when you realize that actually your body is telling you in every which way it can, just take a breath. But then also that I think, and I'm sure there's other people that I know are having a lot worse times. Like I'm not having a bad time at all. It's just, it is life and it is, the ups and downs of life. But it does make you more, I don't know, it makes me annoyed with myself that I can't do everything that I want to do as well.
Mm. I do get that. And then I think you're the worst person for actually stopping.
But you not
And
find
but
though, sometimes when you stop, it's
it's
worse
worse.
because then
Yeah.
your body goes, oh my God, thank God. And it like completely just goes, and then your brain feels worse for it. Like when I went on holiday recently, it was so nice to get some sunshine. It was so nice to be away with the family. I was determined I wasn't going to take my laptop. So because of that determinedness, and we'd come off like 50 million camps, the week before was insanely crazy, like so lot, like stupid early start, stupid late finishes. So I was determined that my laptop was not having a trip to Mallorca, like it was staying at home and that was it, which was amazing. But then I got there and I was still so like full of that like go 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 energy that I had to take myself to the gym every day to lunge myself so I wasn't annoying to everyone else that wanted to relax. And then by the time I got to day 5, I was starting to relax. So I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. Some sunshine. I might actually manage to lie by the pool for more than like 20 minutes without doing that. Like, oh, does anyone want a slushie? Does anyone want a drink? Like that annoying thing. And then I came back from holiday. And the day after, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually exhausted. I think because I had wound down and stopped just 5 days too late. Then you're full
Yeah.
on, aren't you? You're back to full steam ahead of like, now I've got to catch up on all the work that I needed to do when I was away to get ready for like
Yeah.
the
I
next
think that,
camp.
yeah, that's the challenge of working for yourself, isn't it? And having a job, not having a job that you can leave at work.
I know,
But that's
imagine.
yeah. But
What
then
does that
we'd be
feel
bored.
like?
Can't remember. I don't know that I've ever had one actually. Maybe when I was a gardener. I think I probably left that at home. Not
Did.
that at home, left that at work. But
Yeah,
since then, I think it's always been a job that you bring home and think about after work. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? We'll probably never know.
no, that's true. Thank God for ponies. They're just brilliant spaces, aren't they? And I gave Jules a few days off after camp because physically she worked a little socks off. I thought, she really deserves a few days a few days off, and actually it was quite nice just to take the pressure off in that respect as well. And then we went for a hack the other day, and it's just that breath of fresh air, isn't it? That yes, no
Mm.
pressure, just hacking.
I guess that's it, isn't it? I think everybody deals with things differently. And if you have to recognize that you can refill your emotional bucket by going for a hack, it's not about sitting in a duvet watching TV, which is what other people need to do to fill up their bucket.
We did that once, you remember?
We
So
did do that
we had
once.
a camp, didn't we? We had, well, I say a camp. That could have been, did we do three camps? I can't remember, but
Did a few, I think.
yeah, back to back. And I think we were like completely and utterly like done. And well, it wasn't sunny outside, so I can't remember what time it was, maybe April or something. And anyway, we had an actual day off the next day, and we got our duvets down, didn't we? And we sat in the living room, and we put Friends, and we just watched TV and sat the whole day. I don't think we really spoke to each other, and the only decision we made was who was going to go and get pizza from the shop. And that is the only day I can remember in my entire adult life where I've done nothing
Mm,
apart from veg, chit chat, and eat pizza. And I actually
mm.
think it was you that drew the short straw. I don't even think I went out of the house that day. I think it was you that went to get the pizza, maybe.
I can't remember. I do remember that we were lazy sloths and it was quite nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I've done that since I was pregnant, to be honest.
No, I can't remember like ever doing it in my adult life. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should aspire to that. What would you like for Christmas? A duvet day.
Yeah, I'll send
Mm.
you a duvet day kit for Christmas.
Some pizza and a duvet. That's it, sorted. And then do not
Buy,
disturb sign.
yeah, buy you from your phone.
Yeah,
I'll
that I
just
don't have a problem with actually. I am, I think because I work in social media with my like everyday job, I was really good on holiday. Once a day, I'd do my little daily check-ins that I like to do with people, and then that took me on Messenger. But I didn't go on social media the whole week. It was just lovely, and I think because that is a work source for me as well, it was a real complete break. And actually, most of the time, I didn't even have my phone; it was in the room, and then you miss that taking pictures. But actually, I didn't miss it like in the slightest. I got it out once to video the dolphins, and then nearly threw up over it, so put it back.
living the dream there.
Oh, insta reality dolphin watching right there. Anyway, we
No,
saw the
that's the only thing. Yeah, I find we went when we went away for a couple of days this weekend and we went out for a walk and Gav said, "Oh, I'm not taking my phone," which is great because he's always on his phone. But then he's like, "Oh, I want to take a picture." And so that's the only reason I sort of had my phone with me was to take pictures because
to be
just yeah, wanted
fair, we
to,
were with three teenagers, and anyone that has teenagers know that they've got it covered. So it was fine.
yeah.
They'd captured everything and more, done TikToks in Spanish shops and more and beyond. So actually, it didn't, and their camera quality is much better than my ancient one anyway. So they take the majority of the pit. I think it took a few from the balcony and that was it. But it was quite nice to get that. I suppose you're right in what you say. It's important to recognize what works for you, doesn't it? Whether it is sleep or just time out or taking the pressure off or going for a ride on your horse or meeting with friends or whatever it is. It's and then prioritizing. I think we're so bad. We did a podcast on that, didn't we? I think we're really bad at prioritizing ourselves. Like I always put, the family, friends, horses, work, everything before what I need. And it isn't until I get to a point where I'm like, I just can't give what I want to give. So therefore, like that's a bit of a red alert for me, isn't it? But
Mm.
it doesn't happen very often, thank God. But yeah, people on EquiTeam were so nice. They were like, "Oh my God, did you go and sit in a dark room?" I'll sit in a dark. That was so sweet. I'll come and sit in a dark room with you. And I was like, "Oh bless." I was like, "Well, that'd be dead annoying because I'd sit there for probably about 10 minutes, feeling a little bit, oh, and then I'd be dead annoying." And just start talking.
Yeah. What should we do now? Should we go and climb a hill? But yeah,
Yeah,
but that's where everybody's different. Another, if we were all the same, life would be dead boring. The dark room would be filled with people crying. So, it's good if you need that. Obviously, not if you're going to stay in the dark room and cry constantly. Clearly, we're not suggesting that. But if you need to have half an hour, then that's great. And do you know something I heard, was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was a lady who has got breast cancer, and she was talking about how she deals with it and how she was very, very positive and very inspirational. And she was saying, she allows herself 2 hours to dwell and go, this is crap, this is not fair, you know, and sort of wallow a little bit. And then she's like, right, that's it. 2 hours, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore. What's in my control? And focuses on everything that's in her control. And I thought that's a really good thing to, because you do have to allow yourself to, grieve or whatever it is. But I think that's also keeping it in control sometimes as well, because otherwise you could just completely let that take over your life and
yeah,
go like, this is shit, basically. Life's not fair. And it's not fair. But you can't control that. So you've got to not move on. Obviously, that's not the right word, but do what you can, not
yeah.
what you can't.
I think that was part of my problem. Like Monday was a incredibly upsetting day, but then there was no time to reflect and grieve. So by the time I got to Saturday, like I'd got all this emotion, but it hadn't had an outlet, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, I suppose. And you're trying to kind of do, and then there was a situation where we were in the little tea roomy bit for lunch, and when you just think, oh my gosh, like any other time, it's the same as, I suppose, if you are, I don't know, wanting to get pregnant and you can't, all you see is Pampers adverts and people that are pregnant or with baby. It's always the same, isn't
Mm.
it? You just pick
Yeah.
up on these things. And we're in there and someone's like, oh, did you hear that such and such lost their horse? Yeah, they were dead by the gate. They just went in the mud. And this was
Oh
literally the day
no.
after I'd lost Chianti. And I just thought it's, no one knows, because I hadn't told anyone, because I didn't want to tell anyone, because I couldn't quite handle the outpour of emotions that I knew that would happen if people said, oh my God, I'm really sorry and blah blah. And which was my doing, but I just thought I've just got to remove myself from the situation, because I've got nothing positive to add to this apart from either tears or a bit of a, because I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna go and see if Tom needs anything. And I am quite good at putting things in boxes, which is, I think, is a good thing and is a helpful thing. But I definitely think sometimes you do need to, and it is okay to allow yourself, like you say, for that short amount of time to feel a bit crap, and just go, right, okay, what does my body need? Some early nights, a hack, what else? I don't know. Who knows? Loads of people at home will be like, yeah, you need to do this. Don't suggest a spa day. It's not happening.
Be okay if it was a spa day with a mountain to climb.
Yeah, that would be fine. That's
I think that would be epic. Is like a spa day that involved a hot tub, some
mm,
nice walking, somewhere nice to swim that was warm. I'm not suggesting swimming in the sea at the moment. It's a bit
yeah.
chilly for that.
Mhm.
And some nice food.
That would be so nice. That would be an epic day, wouldn't it? If you could go and walk a hill, I wouldn't do the swimming part, I'd let you do that, whilst I sat in the hot tub with a glass of something and then went for some nice food that you didn't have to get too dressed up. So it didn't matter if your hair was a little bit not quite,
I'm eating in my dressing gown.
you lush.
I want the cakes and little sandwiches to be brought to me.
All right, okay. Well, I was thinking that, we'd be staying in a pub or something, so we could just literally walk upstairs and then walk back down in jeans and a hoodie. That would be epic.
Yeah.
And good
And a
hot
fire.
food by the fire.
Yeah.
I
That
like the sound of this. We should make that happen anyway.
I'm
Lake
up for that.
District.
Yeah. That can be
Yeah, you and I get
our emotional bucket filling.
yes, what are you doing this weekend? I'm filling my emotional bucket with some steps and a boatload of carbs.
Actually sounds amazing.
It does
I
sound.
I will make everybody laugh. So I thought I would fill my emotional bucket by doing something crazy on Monday by going kayaking with my friend. And what actually happened was we found a lovely cafe. We didn't have cake, which it did look nice. And the canoe people never turned up. So we went for a walk along the canal, which was actually lovely because I've been thinking, God, it's a bit cold for getting wet in a kayak.
Oh, freezing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was so nice. It's that, yeah, social connection, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see many people down in Englandshire, so it was quite
Yeah.
nice to go for a walk and a chit chat and have a
It
cup of
is.
tea.
Yeah, and actually, I was just thinking that, and it's funny how like your friends and your connections, they just know. So the beach is one of my favorite places in the whole world, and I grew up like hours away from the beach, so for me it's a bit of a novelty. But my other half grew up next to the beach, so for him it's just like a field. It's no different, to him, and he definitely, I think, recognised because he said at the weekend, and he never says this, shall we go for a walk on the beach? And I was like, oh, and he hates walking as well. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, let's go to the beach. I was like, okay. And I thought, I was halfway along the beach and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't realize how much I needed this. He did. It's funny,
Mm,
isn't it? Like that, like you say, that emotional connection, just being out somewhere different and just, yeah, potted along the beach. And everyone else had the same idea because it was an absolutely stunning day with us last weekend. So it was quite busy, but it was just nice. And it was nice to see people out enjoying the beach and the fresh air. But I have to say, Lou, I had no desire to go and swim in that sea. Not again.
mm. No, we were on the south coast at the weekend, and we went to a beach where Gav used to go on holiday as a kid. Every year they spent a couple of weeks of the summer at this little place, and we went, and there was a group of people going out on sea kayaks, which looked a bit chilly and a bit bumpy. And then there were two people who'd wandered down from a house with their cup of tea in a cup, an actual proper cup, and sat on some rocks by the sea and sat and had their cup of tea. And there was another couple who we spoke to that were locals, and they'd just come down with their little boy and were sitting on the pebbles while he
Oh,
played. And there was nobody else there. We went for a walk along this beach, and I was like, oh, I just don't want to go home
mm.
because this is my happy place. This is where I would like to be.
So
So
yeah,
yeah.
it's so nice. We went the other night as well. I think he realized how much like I really needed the beach this last week, and he said again the other night, "Shall we go?" And it was a really weird light. It was so light on the beach, and we took Pepper, my little spaniel as well, and we had the beach to ourselves, and it was just so nice to be in that. Yeah, to be in that space. And I think it's lovely when people can just sit and be and just
Mm,
take from it what they need.
yeah, exactly. I know I was sitting watching these or walking watching these people sitting on the beach, and I thought, oh, that's so nice that that's clearly what they need. They do to fill their emotional bucket. The little boy had fun. The two ladies were having a lovely chat.
Chit
And
chat.
yeah, I just thought, oh, that's so nice. So yeah, I need to find that in Buckinghamshire somewhere.
Yeah.
Not sure where.
So I suppose the take home message really is be aware of your emotional bucket, and sometimes you don't know what you need to replenish it, but if you can recognize, I think it's good. And it's even if you're somebody that's quite naturally outgoing and optimistic, it is okay to have a day where you just think, oh, I'm done. But you're right, it is that supportive network, isn't it, that makes a big, big difference to that space, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It's yeah, finding people who understand you and are your people, I think.
My people. Well, on that note, I think we should say a massive thank you to everyone who is listening. And remember to charge your emotional buckets before the Christmas season because it is a crazy time. It's not always an easy time for people that are dealing with bereavements or tricky times, being lonely, whatever that is. don't forget all the resources from Riders Minds are available. They're free for everybody at ridersminds.org. And also remember that we are doing our Christmas Advent calendar. So if you pop along to equiteam.co.uk, all the information that you need will be on there. And you can join EquiTeam for a month. You get loads of opportunities to win free prizes. We've been doing some epic prize sourcing. We must say a big thank you to Jill as well for helping us with that, and also some brilliant content creators as well, which is exciting that you get access to the library. And actually, I won't say what else we've got, just in case we don't, because Lou and I haven't spoken about that. But yeah, and if I overpromise, then she'll kill me with daggers. So
But
but
we will have lots of fun. We always have fun. There's
it's
always much,
yeah,
much laughter.
yeah, it's such a nice way to run up to Christmas, and it just makes it all a bit more light-hearted with the madness and the craziness, and makes the dark mornings and dark nights seem like ever so much more bearable. I think we need to do it in like January and February as well. Like a winter calendar.
Yeah.
But yeah, come and join us, and thank you very much for listening. It is equiteam.co.uk, and goodbye everyone.
Goodbye.